And just like that, Season 3, Episode 5, brought to you by the free version of ChatGPT. Yes, I have come to that conclusion. And I just want to let you know that I think it is time that the writers, using the term loosely, maybe want to consider upgrading the ChatGPT free model to, I don't know, the paid model. I mean, there's the $20 a month plan. I mean, there's a lot of options in there. You could take a look, gander around, it's not that bad. And if you really want to go ham, why don't you upgrade to the $200 a month plan? I am sure you can definitely find way more options in that plan. Go ham, go crazy. As a matter of fact, take it out of the fashion budget if, you're so inclined to. Because I'm going to be honest with you, no one is going to miss any of the fashion that you got going on the show right now. I think you can skim off the top a little bit and do a little bit better. And if this gives you any indication of how I feel about this episode, then you already know what you're in for. So let's get into it. So what can I say? We are in the middle of the rabbit hole as we descend down to the bottom of the endless pit. That's all I can tell you. Okay. I don't know where we're going to hit rock bottom. We're already in episode 5. So I'm presuming, I think someone said this is going to be 12 episodes so we're not even halfway through. So I'm going to pick that we got a lot more digging to do. Okay. So I'm going to do this in the same format that I've done before. Plus, I'm going to do it as a 1-part, 2-part, because I think I found the flow that I am most comfortable with, especially when it comes to uploading and editing and providing this information to you. So it's going to be from character to character, blending in what happened to each one of them. And the last one will be part 2, which is going to focus on Carrie and, her storyline. So let's start off with I want to say not so main characters, but almost honorable mentions. They make somewhat of the story for each episode. Sometimes they're more focused, sometimes they're less. So we're going to start with Samantha 2.0 Seema. Okay, are you ready? Can't wait. Seema. Seema has decided that she's not going to stay with the Ryan Serhant Darth Vader Empire company that he has established and has offered her to work for him. We've established that from the last episodes. I can't remember which one because they're all starting to blend in together. And now she needs to find a place to rent to start her new group, party of one. I don't know who she's inviting because she invited someone before and they didn't want to go. So she has decided that she's going to go for a bank loan to get said new rental for her office. So she goes into a bank, which I believe is Chase Bank, because I saw the background, because I do pay attention to everything. And lo and behold, she's sitting in front of Linda, the bank officer. And Linda is explaining to her how all this should work, right? So Samantha, God bless her. We'll get into that in a few minutes. Seema is letting her know that she has decided that she's going to go out on her own because the company that she built for 20 years has been taken out from under her from her partner. And Linda, who is asking how that happened, which, by the way, all of us are asking the same thing. So good for you, Linda. Smart cookie. And Seema seems to tell a tale of two Seemas, that she built this company, was taken out from under her. They sold to a bigger company. Her old partner kind of dishonored her, and that something, and do you feel me? So the bank officer is like, well, do you have any assets? And do you really need to? Well, first of all, she says you don't have secure income. So then I have a question. If you've been building this business for 20 years, how do you not have any assets? Isn't your whole business model is selling assets to people? Do you not own your place you're living? So you've been selling and buying for other people and you don't have any tangible assets to refer to at all? 20 years. Remember, she's been working on this business for 20 years. Okay. Building it up. I guess it's right now a tent. So then Linda tells her, you have a lot of expenses. You have an expensive car. And do you really need a driver? I don't know. I don't know. I'm not in front of a loan officer. I don't know I'm sure that's very tangible questions to ask when you're asking. I don't know the amount of the loan that she's asking. She's asking for a small loan. To me, it could be, I don't know, a $20,000 loan. It seems like a $20 million loan she's asking for. I don't know. They don't give us any information. They're just talking. And she's just letting her know that without any real assets and secure income, she needs to ask her supervisor if she's going to be eligible for a loan. And Seema's like, well, she just keeps talking and saying, Linda, do you feel me? And Linda's like, I feel you. I'm like, are we feeling each other up? What is happening here? What's going on? What kind of conversation is this? Okay. And as the loan officer, Linda, explains to her that she doesn't have assets, but she has a lot of expenses, Seema proceeds to say to her, yes, but my job is all about appearances. And when I get out of my Mercedes and I walk into a client's office, it screams baller. Baller. How old are you? What? Okay, let's start off. What year is this? I haven't. Okay, baller. Let's go with that. And I just want to tell you that this chick, this one right here, the loan officer, y'all think I'm crazy? And I mean y'all, the writers and the people who are out there making this ChatGPT free version nonsense. If you didn't think I picked up on the fact that this Linda is exactly the same Linda that rejected Carrie for her loan 20 years ago when Aiden wanted to kick her out of her studio apartment after they broke up. Same woman, 20 years later, still a loan officer, still not a supervisor. Great job. That was the only excitement. The minute I saw her, I was like, oh yeah, I know that woman. Why do I know that? Oh yeah, because she's the one that told Carrie she doesn't have any assets and that she's not eligible for a loan. Same thing. So what, are you saying Seema and Carrie are in the same boat just 20 years later? I don't buy that at all because Seema, in theory, should have had a lot more money than how Carrie at that time was not with any money other than her shoe collection, which, by the way, she should have reported that as her assets because some of her shoes are almost $1,000. Okay, that's not. Wait till we go to the Carrie Chronicles. Oh boy. So Seema leaves after she says, "You feel me?" Yeah, I'm gonna feel you in about 5 minutes. I'm gonna smack you upside your head. Oh my God, I can't stand this show. Subscribe. So listen, the next scene we have is Seema is walking in Carrie's mansion, townhouse, rat-infested home, or I say now not rat-infested. And she's there to ramble on about the fact that she's been waiting for her loan and she's waiting for Linda to, of course, call her about her loan. And it's just so funny that Carrie brings up the fact that she was rejected 20 years ago because she had no assets, which brings up the fact that, again, the woman that has rejecting Seema is rejecting Carrie. And round and around and around we go, round and around we go, we have no story. So Seema is pacing up and down Carrie's now somewhat carpet runner apartment unit something. And Carrie, because of the Carrie Chronicles that's going to come up, is asking Seema to stay on the runner because she doesn't want to make any noise for her downstairs neighbor. So Seema says that she needs a place where she can smoke and where she can walk back and forth freely. Great. She goes outside, and guess who's outside? The gardener boy and his nephew. So Seema is just pacing up and down, smoking her disgusting cigarette in her disgusting way. And of course, gardener boy decides to get up and ask her, hey, why so nervous? Why so glum, bum? And he didn't say that, but that's how he comes off to me. Like, he's just that way. So she tries to tell him that she's waiting to hear back about her loan and that she's very nervous and that that's it. And he actually asks her if he can bum a drag off her cigarette. I don't know you. I don't know you. And I am speaking in the place of any person that does this to me. I don't know you. I think that's, what are we in high school? What is this? Puff pass? What are you doing? I don't know you. Ew. Do you people still do that? Do you people like, okay, if you want to bum a full cigarette and then you don't want to smoke it all, cool. I'll give you a cigarette and then you can smoke it all until the cows come home. But I don't know you enough to be putting your lips on my cigarette and then giving it back to me. Or even anything. Even if you ask me for a drink of water, I'll get you a glass. Like, no. Stop it. Are any smokers watching, and do you guys still do that, or does that seem still weird to you? Because, well, let's get past that, okay? Because now there's the flirting going on. I told you she was going to have a new beau, and he smokes. Perfect for Seema. Chef's kiss. Patience, God. I cannot become an alcoholic. I cannot become an alcoholic. Wait. Hold on. No, wait. I cannot afford to become an alcoholic. I cannot afford. Yeah, that works better. That's how it's going to get me through the show. Because if I can't afford it, I won't do it. So now, Gardener Boy is asking her. He asked her about what's going on. She explained it to him. He says, hey, have you ever tried yoga? He looks just like the perfect person that would do yoga. She was actually kind of surprised that he actually smoked, which, to tell you the truth, I was too. I guess I'm just surprised. I'm just surprised about everything. So he says that he's dating a girl who has a yoga studio and that he can get her a discount. And Seema's word is, what about me? Looks like a discount. I'll let you fill in the blanks. I'm not going to go there. I just won't. Okay. He says that he's under a lot of stress as well because of Carrie's neighbor that keeps staring at him through the window very angrily. And as they're puff passing, neighbor man, who I'm going to dub very soon my new nickname for him, don't you worry. Looks out the window, gets upset because they're smoking, and then she starts to laugh with him, and I guess that's the start of a new relationship. They'll be smoking in bed together, puff passing. Ay. That's all I gotta tell you. Next scene with Seema, she goes back into Carrie's apartment where Miranda is there, and she tells Carrie that she cannot get the loan. She never got the loan. She wasn't approved. Again, I don't know how much the loan was for. I don't know what. So Miranda is asking her to help her find an apartment because she needs a place to stay. And Seema says, okay, because seriously, what else does she have to do other than puff pass the gardener and work virtually from somewhere, which I guess she can't from her apartment or maybe from her Mercedes-Benz with her driver. So that's Seema. Next up, we're going to go with honorable mention number 2 shortly. Honorable mention number 2, LTW and family. So LTW, this episode has somewhat of a storyline that really is all about man crush. So we see her going around her apartment, closing up closets. I've given up with her outfits. I'm not going to comment anymore. Cause I don't understand what's happening here. What's going on? It's just, again, they dress her like she's not of this planet. Like she's not that old to be looking that ridiculous. So that's all I'm going to say. When she wears something nice, I'll let you know. I have yet to see something nice, so don't expect to hear anything anytime soon. So she's telling her husband that they're going glamping. And for all those who don't know what glamping is a glamorous way to camp where you don't actually sleep on the floor in tents and in sleeping bags. It's a very high-end version of camping where you actually have just a bunch of stuff that most tent camping people don't. And it is on Governor's Island, and this is an actual place, and you can actually rent. There's different versions, and they range between the $200, $300 range to, I want to say over or just about over $1,000, depending on what you want. They didn't really do a good job showcasing this at all, and I am not going to go ahead and explain it. It's just if you want to take a look at it, you can. I would love to go there one day, actually. Because I can tell you this much, there's no cars allowed. And that's probably the one reason why I would go. But other than that, I'm telling you this because there's really nothing else happening in the story. She tells her husband they got to go glamping with Charlotte and Harry. The husband is like, I don't know what you're talking about. I would remember something of the name of glamping. Very specific. And they're just going back and forth. Did you really tell me? And this whole purpose is for her to take a trip to Atlanta with her new editor, and her husband to be silently rejecting this whole process, and he doesn't win. So she's off to Atlanta. She is now back from Atlanta. She is sitting in an not an airport, airline. Oh my God. You know what I'm talking about. I'm at a loss for words because I'm sick of this show. So she's sitting inside with Sir Editor, and she's dying to get off the plane because she has to make sure that she's there for the glamping trip. And as they try to let the passengers off, there's this weird interaction between him and her trying to get out of her seat because she's in the middle seat. Instead of him getting up, getting out, and letting her walk out, they have this like tit for tat kind of tension, which I did not see at all, but I understood what they were trying to do. And he proceeds she needs to go get her luggage that's a few corridors down because it wasn't on top of her. This is all I can remember, on top of her seat. So she's trying to find her luggage, and Editor Boy starts yelling into the crowd, please let her through, please let her through. She's a mom of 3 and a wife, and she's doing it all. That's it. That's the criteria. To be doing it all, to be fabulous, just be a mother of 3 and a wife, and you're doing it all. Wow. Good for you. Let's not forget how she lives, where she lives, and there's no one that's going to tell me, other than her stabbing food in the kitchen and cooking for her children, that she doesn't have a maid and the lifestyle that most women who have a husband or a wife and are with children and work a full-time job because they need to. So I don't know what he was doing. I think he was trying to flirt and give her praise in the middle of a crowd that no one gives a shit about what she does. And the next scene you see is her arriving at the glamping at Governor's Island with Harry and family and her family. And it's the same back and forth crap with her and her husband. They were supposed to be making s'mores. He brought everything but the chocolate, which, by the way, is the most important part of the s'mores. And apparently he told her before she got on the plane that she needed to bring chocolate, and it goes back to the same tit for tat that they had before that she left for Atlanta. But did you really? Did you really tell me? Oh, God. So the next scene you have is them sitting in their tent or outside of their tent with their children. And, she wants to take a picture of her kids and her husband. And they take a picture. They say cheese in some language of French, I presume. And then her husband starts looking through her phone and finds Sir Editor Lot. And he starts inquiring her, who is this guy? And she just slightly tells him, oh, that's Marion. That's my editor. And he's like, oh, really? Oh, really? I didn't know he was Sir Handsome. And she's like trying to brush it off. Oh, that's not what you think. And blah, blah, blah. And he starts to get really offended because they sat really close to each other. Like, I'm sure that if she saw him doing that with another woman, he would have a big, big knot on his forehead because she would have knocked him the hell out. Do you understand? This is a woman that didn't want to not sleep with this guy because of sleep divorce. If my head was this close to anyone, I would almost be sure that someone would be saying something, but let's not go there. She's in denial. Or she's hiding something. So she gets upset because he keeps making something about this fake picture of her that she believes that is not that bad. And then she goes off and she goes to find Charlotte. Well, she's just walking on Governor's Island and she finds Charlotte looking out towards the water. And they're just speaking and, they wind up saying, hey, can we just go to the spa? Because there's a spa facilities on Governor Island. There's a pool. It's like a really nice place. So they're in the pool and LTW tells Charlotte, I have a secret. Can I tell you something? And she says, sure. I have a work crush. How long has he been working for you? And how long has he been working for you? Okay, sure. I can sort of see that coming. I mean, they've written it that way. And then she asked Charlotte, is it okay that I have a work crush? Well, let me just tell you this. Let me be clear. Let me be very clear. If you have to ask, it's wrong. And you're wrong because you're asking. So Charlotte, ever so in denial and has her own problems going on, says, sure, that's fine. It's just a crush. And that's it. That was LTW. Those are the honorable mentions. You know what we're going to get into now, right? Do you want me to say it? Say it with me. The 3 ding-dongs. I can't actually hear you. You do know that, right? I just presumed that you said it with me. And if you did, comment below. I said it with you. Ding-dong. It's the only way I'm going to be able to tell because I'm only on camera. Oh my God, the stress that this show gives me. You have no idea. My head was exploding. Literally. To a point that I normally don't make anything after the show. I put it in the post. I'm like, my head is exploding. Oh my God. But that's it. Let's get into the 3 ding-dongs. Are you ready? Okay. It's not good. Ding-dong number 3. Miranda. Oh. This was a spectacularly, I'm going to say that. Whether it's pronounced correctly or not, I don't give a shit. Disgusting visually and stupid storyline. But what do we expect? It's exactly what the writers do. Okay. So Miranda is staying in an Airbnb. We, the viewers, still are not sure why. Now, if she sold her townhouse, I don't know what kind of money I know that she had money. She made it very clear to, her ex-husband, Steve, that she purchased a house, she did everything, and she's always come from some sort of money line because she was the first one in the group to really purchase something on their own other than Samantha, which I presume she purchased it. So I don't know what is happening financially with her, because this is now the second time we see her displaced. First was with, Naya, who is officially MIA. They have not brought her up. They not said anything about her. But this is the character that actually took in Miranda when no one else did. Okay? For reasons that I don't want to get into because you can go check it out. I don't care. Now she is staying in an Airbnb, and we know that she sold a townhouse because she told the Rosie O'Donnell Virgin Nun series babysitter that she sold the house. So now, because she's in an Airbnb, the neighbor right across the hall plays a lot of loud music, and she cannot focus on whatever she's doing, which I don't know. I can't remember something. So she gets up and she puts a note under the neighbor's door to please quiet it down, I'm presuming. And he does for the first time. Okay. Mm-hmm. The next scene we have is Miranda, yet again, in the Airbnb, and the neighbor is yet again making a lot of noise, and she's on the phone with Carrie, and she's telling Carrie that her Airbnb host cannot do anything about the noise because technically he shouldn't be Airbnb-ing the unit. Got it. That is a New York thing. Correct. Wunderbar. So this is where my first eyeballs burned into hell. She gets up, she goes back to the neighbor and puts another note under the door. And this time, the neighbor opens the door, disgustingly naked, full frontal, with a meat cleaver. I honestly don't know which part was more disturbing. The meat cleaver or the meat? Or just a whole, like, how do you apply for that role? You need to look that way and you need to be naked that way, and it just, as an actor, is that the role you really wanted? You think that that's going to propel you into the next hemisphere or the next stratosphere? Like, how much money did they pay him to do that? Because it was really disgusting. And I go back to, what is this show about? Why? What happened to the fun? And this is what we're doing now? Like, so Miranda gets horrifiedly disgusted, which, by the way, I would have as well. She ends up going over to Carrie's home, the mansion, and she is moving in with her because she has nowhere to stay. And as she's moving in with her, a couple of things happen. One, they're not really friends anymore. Because Miranda is going on a date with Joy. She is talking to Carrie about the date and that she's going to sleep over, and she's asking about her outfit. Carrie gives her a scarf to put over her neck, and there's this banter about she's scared that she's going to lose yet another priceless heirloom or item that Carrie has, because Carrie has everything categorized in her mind: when she wore it, how she wore it, where to she wore it, and how much she paid for it. running theme with Carrie since the beginning. And Carrie says, no, it's okay. I know you lost my other bag, but you can wear this. So Miranda goes on her date with Joy, BBC girl. And again, I'm sorry for the starting and stopping. It's just that there's so many intermittent things happening in the scenes that I'm trying to isolate it to specifically Miranda and my nightmare scenario, my eyes burning from here to eternity. So she goes over to BBC Girl. BBC Girl has 2 dogs. The intention is for her to stay the night. And she has the 2 dogs that are whining in her room. Why they're in her room while she's trying to make out with Miranda, I don't know. I don't live that lifestyle. I don't care. So BBC Girl picks up the 2 dogs. She puts them outside of her room, and they're still whining as Joey is like trying to again get it on. And the only thing I can tell you about this scene is that I'm guessing that the 2 dogs are not allowing for these 2 women to get their kittens on. Yep. I gave you see you next Tuesday last week. I'm giving you kittens this week. That's as far as I go. That's it. I'm not giving anything else than that. You had the big one last week. We're going to stick with kitten. So the 2 dogs are not letting these 2 kittens get their kittens on. And somehow this morphs into Miranda going back home or to Carrie's home, and Carrie bumping into her in the hallway of their shared floor. And Miranda is in the middle of the night, completely naked, coming back from I don't know where, the kitchen? I don't know. All I know is that that's a whole lot I can't even put it on screen. That's a whole lot of Miranda that no one needs to see. With all due respect, no. 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 Why? Why are we doing this? Is it a lack of nudity because maybe Samantha's not there anymore? Or they feel that we need the shock and awe of it all? What are we doing here? What is happening? Why do I need to see this? Why do we, any of us, not even, what? It gets better. Not this bad. But, oh God. So, the shock of full frontal Miranda was not enough for me to just completely vomit. I think I just lost it. That's when I blew up. I was like, that's it. I've had it. I kind of sort of blurred out meat cleaver meat man. And now I'm hit with full frontal Miranda for no apparent reason. And I say that with all due respect. If you're freaking staying in my house, put some damn clothes on. I don't give a shit if I've seen you naked before. And by the way, I have a lot of friends. And I've never seen any of them naked. There's no reason for it. Okay. I'm just letting you know that. Not to say that other people haven't, and maybe you have a close relationship, but do me a favor. I don't want to be that close. I don't need to see your boobies. I don't need to see your poo-poo. I don't need to see any of it. Dude, no. Oh, God. Why? Okay. On to the next scene. So in the next morning, when Miranda's sitting in the kitchen and Carrie comes out, she proceeds to go into her 1940 refrigerator to get, I guess, breakfast, which is what Miranda's kind of eating, a yogurt and a banana. And Carrie is upset because it's her last yogurt and her last banana. And Miranda, this is what I'm saying, they haven't been friends in a while because this line is great. Miranda's like, when did you start eating yogurt? And then Carrie says, since I was 50. And what age are you supposed to be playing on this show again? Just out of curiosity. What's the fake age you're pretending to be? So it's what, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 12 years ago? What are you doing? And now Miranda's like, oh, I thought it was a house yogurt. Okay. I normally keep food in my house that I won't eat. But I could tell you this much. If I invite someone to my house, whether it's a short term, 2 hours, it's a long term, 4 hours, or overnight, one time, I am the hostess with the mostest. So much so that is why I don't have a lot of people over. I go crazy. If you ever meet my friends in any way, shape, or form, they will tell you I lay out a spread like no other. Okay. I love it when people come and I have all of the varieties, whether it's food, ambiance, like they come over. This is a very zen space for them. Okay. Because I am by myself, it's very quiet where I live. And my friends, when they do come over, it's like they're escaping their hellscape because they don't have to deal with anything. And yes, the only thing I ask is for them to take off their shoes at the door, and I have guest socks for them to wear. We'll get into that one very soon. Oh, don't you worry. That's coming. I am the type of person that if I know someone's coming, I am going to buy food. So the fact that Carrie has one yogurt and one banana and she invited Miranda to come over, I guess she expected her, which was probably, at the level that they should be intimate, it should have been discussed. So she tells her that she ate her last yogurt, she's eaten half of her last banana, and that, this is the kind of roommate that they can look forward to. The next scene is Miranda using the coffee table, which you will find out what that is soon enough. Seema coming in with Carrie to show off said coffee table. A mess ensues as Seema goes out to smoke her cigarette with Garden Boy. She makes a mess, being that there's a bunch of mess because, again, I don't know what Miranda's working on, but she's got to take over the entire table with papers and food and Coke bottles and all this other crap. And somehow Carrie spills the last Mexican Coke because she makes a reference that it's the last Mexican Coke. Did you take that as well? So we go back to, why are we still not shopping or buying food? Either one of them. They make a mess on the table. And then the next thing you have is them in the kitchen again. And they both agreed that their living together is not going to work. Okay. I'm trying to understand how the hell did these two clash? First of all, it's because she has no fucking furniture. Let's start with that. Second of all, her house is very big. How did these two clash in such a large place? Don't you talk? Listen, if you're that close to your friends, first of all, the fact that she doesn't know that she eats a yogurt in the morning, that she hasn't stopped smoking a cigarette. It was just a very weird scenario between them. I'm like, okay. It's not like they're sharing a studio apartment. There's got to be some sort of conversation, especially if you've been so intimate with this and you've seen her naked. I think that once you start seeing people naked, I think we're close. Honey, and I say this to the men and the women in my life. You see me naked? You and I got something special. We got a bond. Okay? We're a mano a mano. We're going to have all the conversations that are uncomfortable because you've pretty much seen everything about me that I need to expose. So this whole thing is just so weird to me because they have been BFFs fighting and not fighting and being there together. Like, all right. So now they both agree that they can't live together in the east or left or west wing or whatever the hell's going on in Carrie's empty still apartment. Okay. Seema comes in. She announces that she does not have the ability to get the loan. Miranda asks, can you get me an apartment? That's it. So this solution that Carrie came up with to have her move in to this very empty apartment where her and her cat with her BFF, done. It's over. So what I'm saying is that I don't know what kind of friendship they have. And this is what's missing from the show. The show was never about the authentic, the stupid sex. You get me? Like this, the men that were coming in and out, of the show and in and out of them. It was about the bond. It was about the friendship. It was about listening to each other and being there with each other. Those emotional click moments that you felt something other than a stupid storyline about, the spunky gunk I can think of episode with Samantha and some guy's gunk. Like there was just something very natural on the love. And it's like, it's so missing in this show. The only thing I can tell you, and the reason why I feel this way is because there's one moment I'm going to throw in here from the honorable mention when Charlotte and LTW were together in the pool. There's a moment where LTW is asking Charlotte what's wrong with her, and Charlotte can't express herself. And she said, okay, no problem if you don't want to talk about it. And then she puts her hand on her shoulder. That's all you need. That is the moments that we're missing from the show. That quiet bond between them. That's what's missing. That's why the show sucks hard. It's all about fashion, lack thereof. Who's wearing what? What sponsor is going to be involved this week? What stupid freaking lines or puns they could make? There's no connectivity anymore. They're not even sharing a screen together in a normal way. It's just like, I didn't care about the rest of the stuff on the rest of the show. It kind of like was funny, the whole thing, but I watched that show for the bond. I was a New Yorker and I knew that they were full of crap about coming here and finding men and all this. Anybody who came to New York thinking that that was real, well, that's your problem. Us true New Yorkers knew that that was all fiction, but we were okay with it. We were okay with it because it was more than that. So yeah, it's just stupid. So that's what I'm saying. It's like, okay, now Miranda leaves. That's ding dong number 1. Oh, no, I'm sorry, number 3. Next is ding dong number 2. Yes, I'm crying. Oh my God. Why? I don't understand. Why? Every time I come on this damn YouTube, I'm crying like a fish. Do fish cry? Comment below. I may have said that wrong. I know someone will correct me. So, next up, ding dong number 2. Are you ready?